What are we doing?
I gotta ask you one question.
Am I reading a teleprompter?
No
all the way across
teleprompter.
the room here?
No teleprompter. I just want to ask you one prompt and then cue you.
Oh, okay.
So,
Are we recording right now?
yeah, we're recording right now.
Okay, so my mic is going to pick you up or not?
Yeah,
Or
and
you
I
got your
also
own?
have a
Okay.
mic.
All right, so we're recording with my son, Rocco Winchester Nugent. He is ballistically coefficient. He's got an attitude.
So it's March 9th of 2026.
March 9, 2026.
And
And we're having the time of our lives, the best year of my life and the worst for my enemies. Just by having a good life causes my enemies much angst.
And a good percentage of your enemies and your friends are all in some level of a perception that potentially World War III just started.
Wow.
So there's this whole thing called the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, I know it well. That's where all the oil goes
So
through. See all those
70
little things where all the ships are coming
It's
through?
like 75% of Japan's oil, 50% or 40% of China's oil. I don't know how Russia percentage oil, where they get it, but when I see all this, I see, okay, humanity goes through these seasons, and then there's gonna be some level of a cataclysm, and if it's man-made or organic or quote unquote natural, it's still a cataclysm, and it causes society to reframe. And I see that also, this is a reframe that's very interesting. Huge world powers at this intersection, but also now we have AI. And AI is gonna have a new industrial revolution. So like we had, how many...
Unfortunately, it'd be artificial, but go ahead.
How many steel plants, right, were made between the 1800s and the 1900s, paired with the Industrial Revolution. So when I see this, I can't help but see the AI industry, the cybernetic world is about to actually occur on physical analog, these huge data centers. There's going to be physical locations of all these new technological things. But
they'll
also
take up more electricity than all the solar panels and wind turbines that could possibly ever be made could provide.
But also now, potentially, a large portion of humanity's previous, entire infrastructural technology, which is oil, and the industrial age's technology is how much is oil based? It's just so when you're seeing this, is this the beginning of World War III?
Not for me.
You've already been living in World War III.
No, actually, I hearken back to our early trips to Africa, where the people made their homes out of mud and buffalo dung, and they would gather wood, and they would make their own bows and arrows, and they would shoot a lizard for dinner, and they were the happiest people in the world, except for me, because I'm a modern day version of, I don't make my homes out of spittle and dung, but I make it out of work ethic and prioritization to make sure I earn my own way, live within my means, and save for a rainy day. So my overt pragmatism is going to function beautifully without anything that's artificial or claims to be intelligence, or whatever goes on at these Straits of Hormuz, or whether the Muslims are throwing queers off the roof and marrying 9-year-olds that get to beat them up at the wedding. They can go ahead and do all this insanity. I've surrounded myself with quality people, conscientious thinking, pragmatic, utilitarian, work ethic, self-sufficient, goal-oriented, productivity-addicted friends, bandmates, associates. Everybody in my inner circle is so down to earth and old school. It's like Leave It to Beaver, but without a script and just instinctual conscientiousness, goodwill, and decency. So I'm well aware of the horrors that exist everywhere.
All the time.
I've identified the evil, the corruption, the negativity, the demonacy of rape and murder that has always gone on. Remember, Cain killed Abel. We've always been that way. There is nothing new going on. It's just bigger, more extensive, because we're bigger, we're more extensive, and globally they can't get away from our cameras or our AI. So I'm well aware of the atrocities that will continue to happen in the human experience, and I fight against them more than anybody, maybe?
All the time, yeah.
all the time.
But
again, they can, if World War, way more important than World War III is that my government, my Uncle Sam, who I'm celebrating 250 years this year, of the Founding Fathers' life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, which is pretty much against the law everywhere. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is almost against the law. But what I'm concerned about is that my government has become so treasonous that they have intentionally orchestrated the invasion of America to these Islamist extremist cells that are now getting AI signals to start killing us like they did in Austin, like they are in New York City right now, like it's going on in Dearborn, Michigan, in San Francisco, in Chicago, in New York, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in Houston, in Dallas, in my home region of Texas and my home region of Michigan. I'm more concerned about what my rifle can hit at what range to protect my family.
Yes.
So I'm well aware of the global constraints,
yes,
but I'm more interested in what my rifle can hit to protect me and my family.
Yes.
It's really boiled down to that.
Yes.
I've always had my head on a swivel, and I've always been prepared with a handgun, but I don't go anywhere with just a handgun. My handgun will be used to get to my real gun, which happens to be a substantial real gun, and I'm prepared for what happened in Austin, where people are just hanging out at a bar and some Islamist a la puke starts shooting people. And the bombs in New York City, as they're protesting whatever they choose to protest in a violent manner. And I'm a big fan of protest, but not violence.
So you're less concerned about any external, which we've talked about Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, the Fountainhead. We've talked about the collectivist, which can really quickly get towards socialism and communism and ideas that the collective should come before the individual. And
which means a bunch of individuals control that so-called collective. Because the collective are so dumbed down and so stupid, they don't realize that they're slaves to the elites.
And it also usually comes in the guise of a few high-level select using the idea of collectivism to actually mind control the rest under the guise of what do they call it? Altruism, which is like fake, it's like fake do-goodership.
Fake love.
So wait, but when you see Iran and everything that's happening, you don't necessarily. Me too. Belle and I were talking about it. It's like, I don't know if my day is gonna actually change until the actual war is like Patriot, where it's
at
like
the door.
It's like it's outside right now. Right. So until then, I can imagine there's a lot of people that are dealing with some really wild shit, and that sounds like pretty much most of the year, every year since I've been born, and it's probably gonna come and go. But in terms of the Strait of Hormuz and oil, what are your quick headlines on the Iran impact on American and world global economy?
Well, I'm well aware of the war that's going on right now against a nation that their literature, their Quran, their holy written word is to kill anybody that's not a member of their religion.
Pretty intense.
It's the only religion that does that.
Pretty strict.
So it's not coincidental that you and I just finished doing some statements for an organization we created called Hunter Nation, which is focused singularly on electing people who are constitutionally accountable. And that's what we've missed. That's why Hillary Clinton has not been strung up. That's why Barack Obama and Joe Biden, even though Joe Biden's already gone, but the guy who played Joe Biden, and all the Democrats who believe that men should be able to have sex with young boys. That's what the rainbow flag represents. That's what their harmless drag queen story hour represents, if you really follow it to its ultimate claims. And they've written it down. They'll come out and say it if you find the video. So my point is that I'm working with an organization, the hunternation.org, to make sure that we get constitutionalist Christians, conservatives, conservationists, people who believe in individual freedom, individual autonomy, rugged individualism, self-sufficiency, environmental, fiscal, and moral accountability. So if we're way behind the curve, we should have been doing that since 1875, but we haven't been. to a meaningful degree. So that's why our government is infested with thieves and liars and power abusers and tax tortures that we found out because of Doge, which I knew was already happening. So yes, I'm extremely concerned about World War III erupting, but the historical colloquialism was that all meaningful politics are local. Well, all meaningful quality of life can be local. Now, no man is an island. Boy, who am I quoting? Shakespeare here? No man, or maybe Mark Twain, or maybe Gandhi. I don't know. All my heroes.
All of them.
Maybe Fred Bear.
Yeah. But they say get your own house in order before you go out and try to change the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get well stated, my son. Get your own house in order, and that positive goodwill and true love and empathy and compassion, it will metastasize. Instead of currently, the court system has guaranteed that you will go shopping today with a violent criminal because they keep letting them out. And that violent criminal in the 90 plus percentile, historically proven, will commit that violent crime again. The court knew they were going to do it. And if you're unarmed and helpless, you're dead.
Recidivism. That's engineered.
Engineered recidivism. So these are the important issues. Plus, the most important issue in my life right now is to try to get happy. Try to get happy. Try to get Jackson, Sadie, and Coco to act like my beloved happy dog.
Yes.
And try to find a pheasant for dinner. Yes. So I have I live by the greatest philosopher of all times, Dirty Harry, when he said a good man should know his limitations.
Yes.
And I can't go to the Hormuz right now, and I can't shoot down Iranian jets. So I'll make sure that my elected employees are held accountable to their constitutional oath, and that my ground is healthy and productive, my garden is growing, my family is happy and healthy and protected. And from that enclave of positivity, you've seen it at Calvin's birthday, these good people that came by. It is spread. People have become more and more aware, and hopefully they will channel that awareness to get people out of the left lane, quit polluting, and quit burning our tax dollars for the green scam and all the other corruption that exists in the bureaucracies of carnage. So yeah, I'm well aware of the Straits of Hormuz and what's going on, but I trust my President Donald Trump to protect America, he already has proven that, got us out of the World Health Organization, which isn't a health organization. It's a money laundering organization. Get us out of NATO, where we had to pay for everybody else's everything, and they didn't have to pay for anything for us. So Donald Trump is doing all the right things. And I trust that what he's doing in the Middle East, even though the allegations are rampant, that he's a subject of Israel, I don't believe he is. I just think pragmatically and globally, geographically aware that Israel is a strategic chunk of land for us to hold off people that have dedicated themselves to kill Americans. So we're stopping them, and Trump's doing a great job. And Hegseth is the Secretary of War, not the Secretary of Defense. You need to be aggressive towards evil. You can't wait for it to knock on your door. You got to shoot it when you see it on the driveway. Right.
So Iran, in the meantime, you got to get a pheasant for dinner.
Yes, I'm going to get a pheasant for dinner. Okay. Iran can kiss my ass.
Yes.